Let's talk real quickly about the upcoming, kettlebell, upcoming presidential election that pretty much every investing or economically oriented website or magazine decides to talk about. Now, it's kind of a waste of words because politics in the end won't matter that much for us traders, but you're going to see it anyway. For example, if you read The Economist enough, you're going to see a very strong bias toward more status quo candidates like Clinton and Rubio, and you're going to see a strong bias against more fringe candidates like Trump and Sanders. So when you read this kind of stuff, you might think, why are they so biased in a certain direction? Does this have an effect on me as an investor? Is the stock market going to crash if a certain president gets elected? The answer is a little unclear, but overall you don't really need to care that much about politics. But I'm going to tell you who I would like to have as the president based on this one concept, alright? Now, first of all, if you want to vote, vote. I'm not telling you not to vote. 30% of Americans vote. It's not a big number, and there's reason for that. The Economist's reason would be that voting doesn't really benefit you. The utility cost versus the utility gain is negative. It's positive. The cost is more than the gain. And the probability that your one vote actually changes the election is pretty much zero. So from an economist's perspective, you're not going to be voted. But that's up to you. If you want to support democracy, do so. It's not a democracy, it's a republic, by the way. I don't want to talk politics. I just want to point out one thing. No matter who gets elected, you can still make money in the stock market. If it trends sideways, we can still make money. If it goes upward, we can make money. If it goes downward, we can make money. If it becomes more volatile, we can make money. If it becomes less volatile, we can make money. There's different strategies for every type of possibility in the stock market that exists. And if you're familiar with options, you can play all of these at any time. You can play low volatility strategies, high volatility strategies, downward, sideways, upward strategies. They all work. Now that said, I would prefer Bernie Sanders to be elected for the main reason that if he gets elected, we know with a greater certainty what's going to happen to the stock market. And a lot of Wall Street traders, big traders, and probably investors as well, who play stock mainly, hate Bernie Sanders. If he gets elected, and remember, the campaign promises of a candidate usually are not enacted when someone gets in office. So take this with a grain of salt. But Sanders is stating that if he gets elected, he's going to put extra taxes on every trade made in the stock market. So these taxes are pretty high actually for stock. They're somewhat high for bonds, and they're high but rather negligible for derivatives like options. So people who have stock will most likely, if it looks like Sanders is going to get elected, and he's probably not. He's probably not going to. But here's the idea. Sanders is going to be the better candidate for us traders for the main reason of the stock market becoming predictable. And it's going to become predictable because of group psychology. If he gets elected and enacts these tax laws, people are going to pull their money out of the stock market before the tax laws are enacted. They will sell now, before he's elected, so that they don't have to pay taxes when he is elected. In other words, if you have bought stock and you're going to sell it now, you don't have to pay taxes other than, capital gains tax if you held it for a long time, income tax if you're swing trading, and if you're in an IRA, you probably don't have to pay any taxes. But no matter what you do, on top of all that, if he gets elected, he's going to make you pay taxes on everything. So, if it looks like he's going to get elected, the stock market is going to crash. The reason is people are going to pull their money out early. That makes it very predictable for us. And the good thing is, if he's about to get elected, all we have to do is bet that stock is going to go down. Now, the problem with this is we're going to have to pay extra taxes. But like I said, the tax is negligible on derivatives, probably because he doesn't understand derivatives that much. he doesn't understand that very few people, few investors play derivatives. Sanders probably thinks that these bad guys that are trading and making money just by, moving paper around are using stocks mainly. Now, it's strange because derivatives are better for speculative plays. They have lower risk and they have higher reward. Sounds strange because you think that low risk equals low reward, but there are many derivative strategies that can give you high risk, low reward. So what we would do, if it looks like he's getting elected, is we would buy a lot of put options on the stock market. Then once he's elected, everything goes down. We made a lot of money on our put options. We sell them for negligible extra tax. This is better than shorting stock because once you buy that back, every trade is going to have to pay a rather significant amount of extra tax. That's in addition to the tax you have to pay already, plus commissions. So you're going to want to stay away from stock if he gets elected. You don't want to stay in derivatives, and you're going to want to bet that the market's going to go down. This is why I like him. He's going to make the market predictable. He's going to make us all rich. Now, if someone else gets elected, Clinton, I'm not sure. It's probably going to be more status quo. She probably won't save the economy. The economy is going downward, by the way. So that's also probably a good downward bet. If Trump gets elected, I don't know what's going to happen. He hasn't really laid out his laws in terms of how he's going to deal with taxes and that kind of stuff. It's very simplified, so he's being very vague as to how he's going to deal with stock market and stuff like that if he gets elected. That said, he's a capitalist and he's probably made a lot of money through the stock market, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be nice to traders. That doesn't necessarily mean that the stock market is going to go up if he gets elected. So he's more of an enigma, and honestly, he would be my last choice as a trader because I don't know what's going to happen if he gets elected. But I do know what's going to happen if Sanders gets elected, and now you know, and the solution would be hope for him to get elected, help him get elected if your goal is to be rich, and buy lots of put options on the stock market, wait for him to get in office, take your profit, and be one of the few people who are rich during a time in which America is poor. By the way, please like, subscribe, and if you have a video request, put it in the comment section below, and I'll get to it. Promise.